So the next question is, how did you get into Warhammer 40K? Well, that's dead easy. So in 2006, when I was starting high school, there was a guy I was friends with in the year above me who was really into Warhammer. Now, he and one of his mates from the year both played against each other quite regularly, I think at least once a week. One had a Tau Empire faction, the other was Tyranids. So a great set of factions to play as. Now, my friend picked the Tau as his faction to play as, and they were still quite shiny and new. Bearing in mind, 2006 was only 4 and a bit, nearly 5 years after their release. And the reality was, people were still trying to get to grips with them. They were devastating at long range, and they didn't let anyone get in close to them for the melee combat to affect them. So when I was playing against him, there were two factions he said I should try starting out with. One were the Space Marines, and one was Orcs. Now, me not knowing any better, I did pick the Ultramarines as my starter faction. Don't hate me. I am currently in the process of repainting them all as Dark Angels, but that was my faction. Now, I knew I was never going to win playing against a Tau player or a Tyranids player, especially not as a beginner playing as Ultramarines with a small army. It just wouldn't have worked and been possible. However, it did teach me a lot about the fundamentals of the 40k tabletop world. I actually got quite good, especially when it came to playing against insurmountable odds. I'd play against people who played as Necrons, Chaos Space Marines, Tau, you name it. I was able to take on some of the strongest factions in the entire setting. I didn't always win, but I still made sure I gave a damn good showing of myself. And that was the best thing I could have done to learn how to play Warhammer 40k. The next question is, if I was a Warhammer 40k character, who would I be? Now, from my particular opinion, she'd be Saint Celestine. Anyone who's a fan of the faction will know there's this really gorgeous winged angel. That's my other half. The reality is, for most people, though, is they sit there and they go, oh, I'd be a Space Marine. Oh, I'd be Custodes. Oh, I'd be X, Y, and Z. I'd be a Commissar. Generally speaking, there are trillions of human beings in the Warhammer 40k setting. Most likely, you'd be an underling in a hive city eating scraps. And that's the reality. If you were lucky, you'd be a servitor. If you were really lucky, you'd be in the Imperial Guard. And if you were really, really lucky, you'd be dead. Now, if I were to pick anyone in 40k, I'd be Constantine Valdor, the greatest Custodes ever to live. The Emperor's Spear. Wears an armor of gold. There's nothing more to say on that. He's a great character. Realistically, I'd be in a hive somewhere dying in a gutter. And that's a bit depressing to think about.